I know the ones that play like that. Hold them like this. This is the ones I know.
Well, unfortunately, apparently he didn't have a decent brand and only a Wilson piece of shit.
Yeah, well, you know.
This is one of the easiest horns I've ever played in my life. I pulled this out the other day and I played like the first I played but I was like, oh yeah, it's his.
No wonder it's such crap.
It's your mouthpiece, which I'm sure was like yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the second one. Yeah, they are. And I've only played this today. I haven't played trombone today. I've only played this song today. Sure. You're about to have fun.
Doesn't matter. That's a flat note.
Technically, it should be in tune with the other B flat, but we usually hear the stress when we're playing that. So here's what I'm playing.
Is this on? All right. Now that we've played We Wish You a Merry Christmas and 3 other tunes, concert's over. Thanks for coming. No. All right, the next thing we're going to play is something very highbrow. It's from George Frederick Handel's Messiah, not the Messiah. You know, there's a lot of editions of Handel's Messiah that says the Messiah. Well, he didn't call it the Messiah. It was just Messiah. But we're going to play For Unto Us a Child is Born. And so that's a little highbrow. But to make up for it, it's not that highbrow an arrangement. It's one of these British brass band arrangements where they can't resist to kind of change a few chords to sound a little bit like British pop music. So see if you hear that. For unto us a child is born. Do we have Lisa here? Oh, there she is. Next, we're going to bring out the star of the evening. And she doesn't even play a brass instrument. That's Lisa Edwards-Burrs, the finest soprano from Toronto to Sao Paulo. The finest. You know, we've had her singing with us these Christmas concerts for years, and there's been a couple of times when she's missed it because she was on the European tour or a South American tour, and she chose to do that instead of singing with us. But we're going to do something that's kind of unusual next. It's by Max Reger. Anybody ever heard of Max Reger? He was a late 19th century, early 20th century Austrian composer, and kind of Richard Strauss kind of contemporary, you know. And he wrote a piece called Maria Wiegenlied. It means Mary's Lullaby. And we're going to play an arrangement that somebody in the group did. I'm not going to say who it was. To imitate the Austrian Alpenhorn. Does anybody know what an Alpenhorn is? You know, it's 9 feet long. It's a cone made of wood, curves up at the end. And so it's kind of like a euphonium. It's just 9 feet, and it's conical like a alpenhorn. And it sounds, if we open up our spit valve and play, it sounds kind of like an alpenhorn, you know? But we're not going to do that. We're going to make it sound good, like a good alpenhorn. And it's just going to be the euphoniums, and we're going to have a tuba on the bottom there. And it'll just be the four of us playing with Lisa singing Mary's Lullaby. Max Reger.
I had a chance 50 years ago, that summer. I lived in Austria for 2 months as a student, played in an orchestra there called the American Institute of Musical Studies in Graz, Austria. And I was always enchanted by the music of Austria. And now this song, Lisa's going to smile very wonderfully, and she's going to sing in this perfect German, and you won't have a clue what she's saying. So I have the translation, okay? It says, amid the roses, Mary sits and rocks her Jesus child, while amid the treetops sighs the breeze so warm and mild, and soft and sweetly sings a bird upon the bough. Ah, baby, dear one, slumber now. Happy is thy laughter. Holy is thy silent rest. Lay thy head in slumber fondly on thy mother's breast. Ah, baby, dear one, slumber now. So, now you can really enjoy it.
Next, we're going to play something that's not actually Christmas music, but it's kind of boisterous like Christmas music. It's old French dances. Most of them are by Claude Gervais, and it was arranged by Peter Reeve, who played trombone in the Philip Jones Brass Ensemble. They were from like 1950 to the year 2000. They were the brass group in the world, and then he died. Philip Jones died, and the group still exists. It's called the London Brass now because he didn't want him to keep using his name after he died. Well, he was dead. How would he know? But anyway, so we're going to play old French dances. It's got several short movements, and it's dance music from the 1500s and 1600s.
You just want to clap it. No, better. No, well, maybe I will. Okay. It's okay. You'll clap whenever you like. This gave you a chance to hear every section of this ensemble, whether it's the horns, the flutes, the trumpets, and Mr. Durham was playing a high piccolo trumpet. To give you a chance to hear the instruments, isolate them a little bit, okay? Just for fun.
Next, we're going to play the Carol of the Bells. It's written by, the music was written by Mykola Leontonovich about 100 years ago in what is now known as Ukraine. And he wrote it as a New Year's song for anticipation of the swallows returning in the spring. And it had nothing to do with Christmas. And then Peter Wilhowsky, a famous American choir director, wrote Christmas words to it about 1920-something. And everybody knows it here in America as Carol of the Bells. And it's performed all sorts of ways. It's even can be done as a round, you know, like row, row, row your boat, row, row, row your boat, row, you know. But it can be done, but we're not going to do it that way. This is an arrangement for British brass band by William Gordon, and it's Carol of the Bells. Our next tune is the Wexford Carol. It's an old British carol, and this is an arrangement by Phil Snedeker. He's a trumpet player in the Washington, D.C. area, former military band guy, and he leads a group called the Washington Symphonic Brass. They've come down here to play concerts a couple of times over the last 20 years, and if you ever get the opportunity to hear the Washington Symphonic Brass, you should do it. One of the concerts they played at the University of Richmond, and once they played at the Cathedral of the Sacred Heart down by Monroe Park. You definitely want to hear them. Anyway, this is British Carol, the Wexford Carol. I expect that everybody noticed that we only have 3 French horns, right? Is that in the 12 days of Christmas? 3 French horns? No, no. But that last one had 4 French horn parts. Who played the 4th horn part? Their parts are in F. My parts are usually in B flat or C if they're in tenor clef. I got to play tenor clef, alto clef, bass clef, French horn parts. Wasn't that 4th horn really? It was great, wasn't it? All right, the next thing we're going to play is called Russian Christmas music. It was written by Alfred Reed. Is he dead now? If he's not, yeah, he would be really, really like old. Well, during WWII, he, like most people, he worked for the Army, and he was a staff arranger and composer for the U.S. Army Band. And in 1944, they were doing this joint program with a Soviet band that was touring the United States as a goodwill gesture thing, because we were on the same side in World War II, sort of. And so he was given 16 days notice to write this piece that was based on Russian tunes, some Russian kind of piece. And so he wrote Russian Christmas music. Luckily, one of his grandmothers was Armenian, so he had grown up with some Russian Orthodox Church kind of vibe there, and he based this on tunes that he remembered hearing and the kind of sounds that he heard from Russian Orthodox Church music that he'd been to a couple of times. And this is the result, and it's probably the most commonly played high school band music by good high school bands in the last 80 years. Don't hear too much in the last 20 years. I don't know why, but it's kind of faded out a little bit. But it's definitely played a whole lot. I just saw somebody I know over there, and I didn't know you'd be here. Hello, Mr. Mabel. Anyway, so this kind of imitates the sounds of a Russian Orthodox cathedral on Christmas. All the music in Orthodox churches is a cappella. That means from your hat. It means that's what it literally means in Italian. But what it means is no instrumental accompaniment. There's no instruments. It's just voices. And so you'll hear things imitating bells and a big Russian choir with a booming bass kind of thing. And that's what it is, Russian Christmas music. do we keep? All right. Next, we're gonna play a Spanish carol. It might actually be Catalonian, which is kind of. I think that they don't like to be called Spanish. They're Catalonian. But the music here says that it's Spanish, but it's foom, foom. Well, it's really kind of weird. It's not foom, foom, foom. What? Oh, we're gonna do intermission next. Sorry about that. I'll have to tell you about foom, foom, foom after the intermission.
He gets excited. What happened?
Well, I asked if we were doing intermission. I didn't say I was catching. Hoping. I remember how she was really sick all those way back when I was. Yes, sir. I thought they moved. I'm not good enough. Very nice to see you. Ball bell, intermediate shank, Is this on? It's not on. No, the light, yes, the button's on, but they've got it turned down up there. But how do I get their attention and turn the mic on? All right. Can you hear me now? All right, we're going to start in just a few minutes, and my compliments on one thing about y'all's decorations. Do y'all call the Christmas tree with these decorations on it Christmas tree? I don't know where they got that, but trying to be highbrow. And my compliments because on the back, kind of around the back as I was coming in the door, I could see an ichthus. Does everybody know what an ichthus is? It's a fish. That's a Greek word for fish. And for years, there was dare I say it, I don't want to insult non-Catholics, but it was a Baptist church that I played at over in Southside. Maybe it's because they were in Southside. And they had a Christmas tree, and it had a great big fish. About every fifth decoration was a fish. And the theta, right in the middle of the word fish, was an O without the line or anything. Y'all have like a little pearl in the middle to make it like a theta, but it was just an O. And so I guess it would be Ichos or something. I don't know what it would be, but they didn't even know what they had. Well, whoever was making those decorations definitely gypped them. They should have put a little thing across there to make it a theta, because you know why the fish? Do you know why the fish? Well, because for two things, and there's a theology professor sitting right behind me, and he might correct me on this, but he's the chairman of the faculty at Union Theological Seminary, in addition to playing the trombone. But he doesn't tell people at work he plays the trombone, I assure you, because there was a play. It's said that a secret password to get in the early church to the Sunday evening worship was you would draw a little stick fish with your foot in the sand, and they knew to let you in. And it became more and more common to use the fish and the fishermen and all, and they even came up with an acronym with the word fish, Jesus Christ of God. That's where the theta comes in, theos or something like that. Jesus Christ of God, Son and Savior. And the initials of that in Greek are the word fish, ichthus. Did everybody know that? That's what it is. And Yeah, you do. And, people have it on the back of their car. There are loads of people that have that on the back of their car. And they have the word Jesus written in it in English. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's not a Jesus, it's a fish. It's ichthus. So then you find somebody that has one, and inside the fish it has ichthus, and you ask them, what does that say? Do you know what that says? They say, oh, it means Jesus. No, it means fish. Oh, well. But being I don't want to make fun of you non-Catholics, but. All right, next we're going to play Foom, Foom. Well, this arrangement, everybody's probably heard Foom, 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 right? The Spanish carol, Foom, Foom, Foom. Well, this arrangement is called Foom, Foom, Fun. Not Foom, 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 but Foom, Foom, Fun. And I have to tell y'all, I can't stand this one. But he likes it. Everybody in the group likes it. So we're going to play it. And I hope y'all like it. Well, that was Foom Foom Fun. Next, we're going to play a British brass band arrangement of The Holly and the Ivy. This tune, no one knows who wrote the tune. It goes it's been published in various forms with a little bit of variation from what we know it is today. Goes back like 300 years, and it started being printed in hymn books and things, and sometimes the tune was a little bit different in the 1830s and 40s in England. And this is a British brass band arrangement, so they get a little bit cute with the melody sometimes. And here we go, the Holly and the Ivy. Next, we're going to play a flute solo, but we don't have any flutes. There was a Christmas album made by James Galway in 1994. He was an Irish flute player, but he really got his start in the big time by making it in the Berlin Philharmonic. He was the first Irish player that they ever had in the Berlin Philharmonic. They were very parochial. They didn't let non-Germans in for a long time. They didn't let women in for a long time. They hired a woman harp player just not many years ago, and they made her sit kind of behind the curtain so no one could see that they had a woman harp player. I mean, people in America complain about women and blacks and prejudice and stuff. Man, we ain't got nothing on the Germans and the Europeans. We're pikers compared to them when it comes to just being nasty to people. Anyway, so we're going to play James Galway's Grand Fantasia on I Saw Three Ships. And the guy who usually plays this, he's not here. He's doing some fancy-dancy concert down in Florida. He's getting paid for it a bunch of money. And so it fell to me to play the flute part. So I hope I do okay. The Grand Fantasia on I Saw Three Ships.
You forgot the part about begging to do this.
Yeah, Bob begged to do it. I didn't beg to do it. And I start anytime I want. Okay, I'm ready. You ready? Next, we're going to play the Gloucestershire Wassail. Does anybody know what that means? The Gloucestershire Wassail, the wassail song, but it's the version made popular in Gloucestershire, which, if you didn't know, even after the so-called English Reformation, when Henry VIII cut off the head of all the Catholic bishops and St. Thomas More and other fine Catholics, Gloucester kind of remained a very Catholic enclave. Even to this day, there's a lot more Catholics in the Gloucester area than there are in other parts of England. And did you know that there are more Roman Catholics than Anglicans in England today? Did you know that? And it's still illegal for the prime minister to be a Catholic. What was the guy's name? Tony Blair. He became a Catholic the day after he left office because it was illegal to be a Catholic. But you know, those English, they're very tolerant, right? That was irony. All right, so now we're going to play the Gloucestershire Wassail. I'm sure you've heard it. This is a setting that was done by Ralph Vaughan Williams in his very famous old English songs, five old English folk songs, and the other four aren't Christmassy at all, but this one, you probably have heard it. It's usually done by voices, but we're going to play no word. We're not going to sing it. We're going to play it. Here we go. Next, we're going to bring Lisa Edwards Burroughs out again, and she's going to sing something from that very famous Christmas opera, Come il Grinch rubò Natale. You know what that means? That's Italian. It's an Italian opera, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Y'all didn't believe me?
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of soldiers. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39 1/2 foot pole. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The 3 words that best describe you follow, and I quote: stink, stank, stunk. You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. And given the choice between the two of you, I take the seasick crocodile. You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sinful sorts. Your heart's a dead tomato, spatched with moldy purple spots, Mr. Grinch. Your soul is an appalling dump heap, overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of deplorable rubbish imaginable, tangled up knots.
That was arranged by Bill Bjornis in the trumpet section. Cut this one? Oh, okay. All right, next thing we're going to play is a medley for British Brass Band of, it's called A Celtic Christmas. I don't think that the tunes are particularly Irish, but it sounds kind of, the music sounds kind of like river dance, and I think that's why they call it A Celtic Christmas. See what you think. All right, next, we need some help from y'all for the next next couple of tunes. If you'll open up a hymnal, can somebody find for me the page for "O Come All Ye Faithful"? Do y'all have the first verse in Latin in there? I bet you don't. 183? 182. Do you have the first verse in Latin? No, oh well. You'll sing it in English. So we'll do the first verse, and do you have a verse that starts "Sing choirs of angels," and one "Yea, Lord, we greet thee"? Are those numbers 1, 6, and 7? 1, 2, 3. Okay. They're really 1, 6, and 7, but y'all must have skipped the other 3. Anyway, we're going to do we do 3 verses or just 2? 3 verses. So we'll do an intro, and then you'll sing the 3 verses straight down. Okay? And we're doing it in, what key is it in there? Well, we're not doing it in C. We're doing it in G like it's supposed to be. And so it's going to be high notes. Well, that's the program, but y'all stopped clapping. Do you want to hear one more? All right. That last one was adapted from the famous Carols for Choirs arrangement by Sir David Wilcox. You might have recognized the Sing Choirs of Angels and the Yea, Lord, we greet thee. Well, the next one is also adapted from the Carols for Choirs books, and it's the last thing we're going to play. Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed it, and sorry about making fun of the non-Catholics. I just can't help myself. Anyway, so this is We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming.